Hello, let's recap Chicago Fire Season 3, Episode 4, Apologies Are Dangerous. Now, this title is referring to our girl Dawson, her first firefighter shift as candidate at Firehouse 51. She's on Truck 81 under Lieutenant Casey, who also happens to be her fiance. The guys are trying to prank her, like the entire episode. She doesn't fall for it until they let her drive the truck into the garage, and then a whole bunch of confetti pops out, and she has to clean it up. She's on kitchen duty also, so her first incident, guys trapped under a car in a junkyard, and she forgets the jack handles, and she's in charge of all the equipment. And so Herman, who's kind of in charge of Dawson at this point, which I totally predicted her. She's working under Herman so that she's not directly reporting to Casey. So, she's not shadowing Casey. She's shadowing Herman, which I thought that was a better idea. So he tells her to improvise. And later she wants to apologize to Casey for, lacking and for making a mistake. And he says, whoa, don't apologize, just fix it, because in this business, apologies are dangerous, and that's pretty much what Casey tells her when she does apologize, and they make her run drills. Well, Casey makes her run drills with the rest of the truck, so no one's happy. But Dawson does some good things, She finds an alternative water source when all of the hydrants have been vandalized. She goes into another building and gets their water, and she gets the really long extension cord, and she gets rewarded because Herman is like, "Come on, Dawson, get your mask, we're going in." So she did pretty well with her first fire. So speaking of Herman, we also find out that he has a problem with the chief, the head chief, not Bowden, because Molly's truck 2.0 did not get clearance from their inspection, and he's getting passed up on all of the lieutenant jobs that he's applying for. He gets his cigars sent back. I mean, seriously, who sends back cigars? Especially, big firefighter men. So he tracks down the chief, and he finds out that the reason the chief doesn't like him is because he has a garage full of energy water. So if you don't remember, in Season 1, Herman was all about being an entrepreneur and catching the next best thing and trying to sell it, and so his thing was energy water. So he got a buttload of this stuff, and then it, crashes down. And so he's left with all this energy water, and thanks to Otis talking to the guy on the phone, he got a refund. Or, that is, he got the guy to take all the energy water back. However, he pitched it to a bunch of firefighter guys to get in on the business, and I guess one of them was the chief, and so now he's really mad at Herman. He's got a beef with Herman. Alright, so in other news, Peter Mills is making the transition from squad to paramedic because he is no longer cleared to be on squad because of his condition. It's going to be a hard thing because he's always going to want to get in there, wants to get in the action. I can move the backboard. Nope, let the firefighters do it, Mills. And Chief tells him as much because he's trying to fill his father's shoes, but, at least he's still in the firehouse. He kind of gets a little testy with Brett, his partner in the AMBO. So he tells her that, this is the city, and you gotta get over whatever it is. You can't just stop because somebody died, because you got more people coming out of the burning building. So Brett is obviously from a small town, and she's not really warming up to the gigantic Chicago incidences yet. Which really hits home, because her fiance, Harrison, comes back. Now, we all thought that she left him runaway bride style. Turns out, he's the one who got cold feet and left her. And she took his car when she's been trying to pay him back with all the money, so she doesn't owe him a debt in her new Chicago life. So that's what the money that we saw earlier, and that's why she's a fancy apartment. It's because of that money. And so he wants her back, he wants her to move back, leave Chicago, and move in with him again. And after the traumatizing fire and Mills going, "Hey, you gotta get over it," she's kind of feeling that maybe she wants to get back with Harrison, I guess. But, she's part of the crew now. So the main part of the episode was all about Severide. So in the promo, we saw that he was involved in a shooting on a subway. Just this guy trying to rob people, and he shoots the conductor. And with his first aid training, Severide is able to, patch her up and keep her stable for until the paramedics arrive. And he tells her that his paramedic friend is the one who taught him all the first aid, and he basically saved her life with that knowledge. But, every other night, he's not saving people on the subway. He's bar hopping and, waking up with black eyes and things. So the chief calls him out on it, and he says, get your act together or you're out of the firehouse. So I guess this is kind of a wake-up call for Severide, but, he says he's fine, and he just wants everybody to leave him alone. He's, back talking to Casey. So Casey decides to have a talk with him because Kelly is the one who talked to Casey when Hallie died to get him out of the funk. And so Gabby suggests to Casey that he talk Severide out of his funk. And so, they have cigars and they talk, and what really gets him is right afterwards, the victim, who was the conductor on the train that Severide saved, she comes to the firehouse and says, "Oh, I want to meet your paramedic friend." And he says that, oh, she died, and it's a really sad moment. But then she says that, no, she's with you. So hopefully next week we'll see all of these storylines continue, and hopefully the Firehouse will not have any injuries next week, because Mouch is coming back, eyes all patched up. Let's keep everybody in one piece, shall we?